What is up, YouTube? Welcome to PanFro Games, and today we're testing some of the hardest shiny hunts on Pokemon Scarlet and Violet on the Switch 2 version. The Switch 2 made Scarlet and Violet run so much better, more Pokemon spawns, and there's a beautiful 4K 60 FPS. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, support the channel, become a channel member, and let's dive in. So some basic facts. And the most important part of this is most shiny hunts are going to be much easier now because not only is the game running at a higher frame rate and everything just loading in faster, including the Pokemon spawns, but they also increase the maximum spawns of Pokemon to a total of 36, which is pretty insane. I mean, we can just fly over this lake and you can just see Pokemon are spawning in rapidly. And honestly, it makes shiny hunting just in general easier. But does this really affect some of the harder hunts? And that's what we need to find out here today. Now, one of the easier shiny hunts now, because of the spawns, is going to be Tandemaus, because we can isolate shiny hunt Tandemaus in the Kitakami Paradise Barrens area. And they spawn everywhere. I'm using a normal encounter, the same was level 3, sparkling level 3, and all that good stuff. So we have really good odds. However, of course, we could get a mass outbreak, and I would still recommend going for a mass outbreak on this. But it's a relatively decent hunt. I mean, if you don't mind walking up to all these different mice and just seeing if they're wearing blue. If they're wearing brown, that means they're shiny. If they're wearing blue, then they're not shiny. But you could just spot check them like this. This would definitely take a while, but this is, of course, not an easy hunt at all. And you're probably just better off like going for a mass outbreak. But there are some accessibility settings. I don't know if you do know this, but if you double tap the home button, you can actually zoom in. So if you want to zoom in and then hit like X, you can see, okay, I don't see any of them that are wearing brown. We're good to go. If you want to set up your accessibility settings on the Switch 2, you can go to your system settings, you can go to accessibility, and then you want to go to zoom, and then you can set up your zoom settings here. That can definitely be helpful for a hunt like this. But overall, this doesn't really change the hunt outside of, instead of getting a max of 16 spawns, you're now getting a max of 36 spawns. So, you know, technically your odds are going up a little bit just because you are looking at more Pokemon at once. But, you know, this is probably the best area to do it. But I would, of course, recommend trying to do an outbreak reset and trying to get an outbreak of these mice. And if you don't know how to do that, simply go to your system, then go to date and time, go to the time and hit OK, and then back all the way out. And then you'll get some new outbreaks. And then you can check your map. And we didn't get an outbreak that we wanted, but you can see that we got a bunch of other new outbreaks coming up. So you eventually just want to keep on doing this, and that's how you're going to do it for Tandemaus. And honestly, this is going to apply to a lot of Pokemon. So the next hunt I want to look at that personally was my hardest hunt in Scarlet and Violet is Ditto. Now, Ditto is always going to be transformed as another Pokemon, and we're going to be doing this at the Lighthouse. Now, if you have a normal level 3 sandwich like I do, and I'm still using the same sandwich from the Tandemaus, essentially, all of the Pokemon here are going to be Meowths or Tandemaus. Now, the Meowths, for the most part, are going to be Dittos. So you're going to have to auto battle them. There's no way to tell if a Meowth is a shiny Ditto, but you can tell if a Meowth is a Ditto if the Meowth is max size. So if that's a big, see, is a Ditto. And you can also just do things like this, right? So most of these are going to be Ditto at the end of the day. You will get shiny sparkles if it is shiny, of course, if you run into it. But because there's so many more spawns now, and you can just despawn them by walking into the town over here, it's actually a little bit of an easier hunt. And of course, you're just going to auto battle. So just make sure you highlight over them. If it says it's a Ditto, you want to kill it. And you're just going to keep on doing that. And eventually, you'll hopefully get a shiny at some point. But it's not, I mean, it's obviously a very hard hunt still, but you are getting a lot of good options. And of course, a couple Tandemaus will spawn, so maybe you want to hunt for Ditto first, and you could potentially get yourself a shiny Tandemaus by doing this. This is actually how I got my first shiny Tandemaus, was hunting for a shiny Meowth, and it accidentally just happened to be one of the Pokemon over there. So we got a Ditto right here. It's not an easy hunt. Very hard, but hey. Also, it does help if you do have the Blueberry Academy stuff where you can see different marks and things like that, because honestly, if you are mark hunting, that can definitely be helpful, and you'll definitely get a handful of shiny Meowth by doing this too. So it's a very interesting, fun method. It's also a very similar method how you're going to do the Zorua hunt, which I put them in the same tier. I do think this one's just a little bit harder in general. Now for another hunt, Zorua. Similar to Ditto, but a little bit easier. And we're using a dark type level 3 sandwich. So if you do this during the daytime and you auto battle all of the bosses that are not in groups, they're going to be Zoruas, which is going to be awesome. Now, if it is a shiny, is not going to kill it in the auto battle, which is going to be really nice. And this actually shiny hunt got significantly improved in my opinion, because there's so many more bosses spawning. So I actually think the Zorua hunt has gotten significantly easier now. Like, look at all these Zoruas. They're together. They're all just hanging out together. Now, the annoying thing is you will have to auto battle every single one of them because there's no way to tell if it is shiny in the overworld outside of your partner Pokemon not killing it in auto battle. So you just got to keep on doing this. But this is an endless chain, and this is going to be an incredibly easy hunt now to do. I mean, easy in the sense that you can just do it right away. Just got to remember, you got to do this during daytime, because at nighttime you will be getting Murkrows and Honchkrows and all of them spawning. You don't want to deal with that because it's just going to take away from the Mosses spawns, and it's just going to make the hunt really hard. So just keep that in mind. Daytime is the way to do it, but this is going to be a super easy shiny hunt, so good luck on this. Now, did Tynamo get any better? And unfortunately, Tynamo did not get any better. We are getting a lot of spawns here, but the reality is it's a small Pokemon that is in the sea, and the shiny's not that. It's really hard to see the shiny. This is one of the worst hunts, honestly, still. This is just a brutal hunt. Even with an electric sandwich and all that, I'm doing it off the coast over here. I think this has always been a good spot. You can also do it over here. I think for this, you still absolutely need to get a mass outbreak, and you absolutely need to get some good vision going on. Now, I guess a downside is you are getting a lot of other Pokemon spawning in too. So like you're getting a lot of watch rolls, a lot of kilowatts rolls coming in with the electric sandwich. So, you know, it's not truly an isolated hunt anymore. I mean, it never really was, but it is definitely something to keep in mind because of the spawn distance. We are getting a lot more birds involved, which can definitely make the shiny hunt a little bit more annoying. That's probably one of the downsides of the draw distance is now you're going to get more and more Pokemon coming in that you may not want. And this is definitely one of the ones that is negatively affected by the amount of draw distance, but you still get a good amount of spawns. I would say I still am probably seeing about 15 Tynamos right now. So it's not horrible. Some rolls are going to get more, some rolls are just going to get less. It's just how it be. Did shiny hunting Feebas get any easier? Well, I do have a level 3 sandwich. I do not have a mass outbreak, and I will say it does not look good for Feebas right now. But I'll say if you're looking for Barboach, it's not the worst, because Barboach didn't spawn this much before, and it's actually one of the Pokemon that doesn't really have a good spot in general. So sort of nice that Barboach got a decent spot. But this is the Feebas cave, and I have not seen a single Feebas. So this is one of those where you're absolutely going to need to reset for an outbreak. But I do have some bad news. Let's say I got the outbreak. I don't know if the exploit method would even work anymore, because we can't really despawn the Pokemon on the other end of this cave here, where I'm coming from right now. All those Barboach, all those other Pokemon, we used to be able to despawn them, so we could have endless Feebas by like standing here. But now I don't think that's gonna work. So this Feebas shiny hunt might not work as well, because look at this. I am seeing Pokemon all the way on the other side over there, and they're still spawning in. So the Feebas hunt might have actually gotten work. I mean, let me see if I can go all the way back here and see how it looks. There's still, yeah. Okay, we have one Feebas. So I see one Feebas so far. So that's the first I've seen. But the fact is all this Pokemon over there is spawning, and then there's a bunch of Pokemon off screen that are spawning. So you absolutely need a mass outbreak still to do it. But even with the mass outbreak, it's still going to be relatively hard. So this one might just be worse on Switch too. Since we're in Kitakami, might as well stop over to the White Stripe Basculin area. And we're using a water level 3 sandwich. And honestly, yeah, lots of Lotad and Lombres here. But You are actually getting, I'm getting 4 Basculin, which isn't horrible. Now, this outbreak is incredibly rare. I've only seen it twice in my life. So this isn't the worst because they're all going to be right in front of you. And you could do a picnic reset method and just keep on trying to do it. I mean, this is pretty much the only way to do it outside of breeding. So it's not the worst. I think it's a slight upgrade over the Switch one just because obviously you have more spawns. Spawns are coming in faster. Like we have 5 right here. That's like not horrible, honestly, because you were never getting the full 15 spawns of these before in general because there was always a million Pokemon that would spawn on the side and behind you. So this really isn't that bad. I see a total of 5. Not bad. Not a bad hunt. It's going to be a rough one in general, especially if you're going for the Living Shiny decks, or of course you could just do it in Pokemon Legends Arceus for an easier time. But overall, say it's slight improvement. Next up with our water type sandwiches, we're going to check on the Totodile hunt. This is one of the hardest hunts in the entire game easily, and it only spawns in the savannah in these pools over here. And honestly, it's better than before, which is not saying much at all because I see 1 and usually I would see 0 in general. So 1 is better than 0, but that's not a big... Oh, is that 2? All right, that's 2. That's twice in more than I usually see at this area. Really, it's still horrible, but it is technically better. But you're going to have to reset for a mass outbreak in one of those pools, and hopefully you can get it like that. This is either going to be a breed hunt, but I think you're better off trying to reset for that mass outbreak because this is just a brutal hunt. This, and I'll just say the Cyndaquil, are insane. These are just insane mass outbreaks that you got to try and get in general. But I mean, we can just go right over to Cyndaquil now because it's the same tier, except I would say Cyndaquil has definitely a worse area because at least Totodile shows up. Like, you know, we saw 2 Totodiles. I think it'll be a miracle if I even see 1 Cyndaquil right here. But it only spawns in this one cave right here. And then in the cave, it only spawns right here. That's it. So even with a fire type sandwich up, it has a hard time spawning in general. It's just 1 spawn point right here, and it's just not happening. I did some preliminary testing. I even tried to reset for a mass outbreak because I really wanted to see, but it's such a rare outbreak. Well, I think another issue is just if you don't have the outbreak here in general, good chance you just don't see any Pokemon spawns at all. So I think Cyndaquil hunt is significantly like, yeah, okay, we got 1. We got 1. I've been in this cave for what, a good minute, and I got 1 spawn. That's sort of crazy, right? And it's of course not a Cyndaquil. Even if I had a fire type sandwich, it wouldn't have mattered. I'd probably get something else because Cyndaquil is just so rare. Cyndaquil is definitely a Pokemon that they need to do a shiny outbreak event for because it is criminally, like, I don't know why they put it in this one cave and made it impossible to get. It feels like a bug, honestly, how hard this hunt is. And I still think this is probably the hardest hunt in the game outside of maybe like a Ditto. Now, did Minior get harder? And I am unfortunately have to report that he definitely got harder. So here's the issue. There's too many spawns. There's too many spawns now. The draw distance is too far out. We're getting 36 spawns max, right? And you can't tell a shiny meteor in the overworld. The only way to tell was to essentially count up to 16, and then you would save your game and then start knocking out meteors, and then the one that you didn't knock out, it would be shiny, and then it was shiny, right? Now there's really no good way to do it. You would probably need a mass outbreak, knock out 60, save your game, and just try. Now the big issue is, of course, there's many different colors of Minior cores. If you're core hunting, I think you're pretty much done on the Switch 2. I don't think it's happening because, I mean, different cores can spawn in different outbreaks as well, but you just don't know what you're going to be getting. And if you're going to get all the cores and the shiny hunting's this hard, it's brutal. So I hope you weren't waiting to do Minior on the Switch 2 because this is probably the hunt that absolutely got hurt the most out of every other hunt in the game. This is genuinely impossible. Like this like is just incredibly hard. I just don't know what to say. It's really devastating. Of course, you can only do this in the Blueberry Academy, so you're very limited on your options. The only good news is it is a pretty common outbreak to spawn. So, you know, good luck on getting your shiny Minior in Switch 2, but it's probably not going to happen. So overall, the Switch 2 did make shiny hunting easier, except for a few of these really hard shiny hunts. And this seems to be the last update for the game, so I'm not expecting anything to come save us, like a shiny sound, shiny sparkles on the screen. The fact that we're having 36 spawns is really going to hurt Pokemon like Minior, where we had no way to actually tell the difference. Luckily, some of the disguise Pokemon we were able to figure out, like Ditto and Zorua. But, you know, some of those rare Pokemon where you need an outbreak, those outbreaks are still really rare. So you're going to be mastering Reset Simulator until you get it, and then good luck on that shiny hunt. Of course, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. I really appreciate it. If you want to support my channel, my work, hit that join channel member button below. I really appreciate it, and join the Pan Fam. Anyways, guys, I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out and have a good one.